Hello, and welcome back to another Minecraft Let's Play video with me, Elven Dragon. So last episode, we built up this rather tall tower here to get ourselves a bit of snow, bit of powdered snow, and some ice. And it's been doing quite well since then at getting some of those. We've got a snow golem set up in the basement of our house. And I believe that should be the last few resources that we can get just on our island here and the ocean around it. We do have to go get some prismarine from the monument that's out there past that far island on the horizon there. But again, I want to wait to do that till we get a little bit closer to that area. We will eventually. As you can see, our forest is going quite well. We have a few more of the mangrove trees. We've been trying to grow up a few more of those. But today, what I think we're going to do is we have that little peninsula of grass back there behind our house. And I'm thinking that might not be a bad spot to put a third tower on this island. But unlike the other two, where this one's just incredibly tall and it's literally pretty much just for getting snow and ice, and the other one's more decorative, I'm thinking this one might be more of a ruined tower. We'll go with kind of the same design and shape that we did for the first one. But instead, we're going to try and make it be a lot more overgrown and everything else. So the other thing we did is we went and put in a little block of water here so we can just drop down from the tower. So I need to figure out how we're going to do the rest of the ruins that are going to be there. It could just be that we have a couple corner blocks there and that's about it. Maybe we can't really do anything ruined on this tower that just kind of fell off there at some point. Could also try to pass it off as that. I'll figure something out for it eventually, but for now, those two little blocks there will suffice for just a quick down path from the top of the tower. But over here, we have a little area marked out. Looks like we missed a mangrove log on that tree. Checking this wandering trader, nothing of use. Okay. So we've got this area over here marked out. I want to do a little bit of work on this upper section here, kind of just smooth this out here a little bit. So we'll take some dirt off of there and just try and make things look a little nicer. But right here, we've got a spot marked out. Got marked that sky pillar here. That's actually what that tower is going to be. So we're just going to kind of trim some of this area over here where we have peninsula. That way we get a nice, decent sized area here to work with. Kind of makes things look a little bit nicer. So we'll get this here, cut this off here, and then just lower this off a bit. But again, we're just going to kind of go for the same sort of dimensions that we did for the other tower. Hopefully it'll still fit on this area here once we get everything cleaned up. I certainly hope so. Looks like it, but I'm not too sure. So I'm going to go get that marked out, get this cleaned up, and then I'll be right back. All right, so we've gone and gotten at least the base layer here in with our little details and stuff. I tossed in a few gravel that we had on us into the mix, and I kind of like that. Might put in a little bit more in a few spots. But what I'm thinking for this is we've used all of the other types of leaves in the forest and the scrublands. So I figured we might as well use the last type of leaves on this island that we haven't used, which is cherry. So we've got some cherry growing up over there. I've got a bunch of it here because one of the things I'm thinking is we're going to put in a giant cherry tree right into our little tower here, at least the ruins of the tower. So I'm thinking probably somewhere right around here so we can actually go and have some nice little detail stuff. And we're going to do a 3x3. I normally don't do these because it can be a pain to actually manipulate and work on. But I think we're going to do something with this. Now, not quite sure entirely how we're going to do this, but I've got a few ideas here. And we're definitely going to have to go through and play around with how we have all of our wood blocks here on the side. But what I'm thinking is we're just going to do a nice kind of little scraggly little tree. So it'll go up. We'll have two branches coming off the top. That'll split off into smaller branches and go from there. And basically this kind of little peninsula here is going to turn into a small little cherry forest. I think that'll be nice. I think it'll be a nice little break from the rest of the area here because I love that forest, but I'm not sure we really want to do that for this small little area here. I don't know what all we're going to do for ground cover over here, or if we're going to change the ground at all. I know for inside the tower, we're going to go with the same kind of flooring that we have for the other one. So we're going to do oak planks and moss. We might mix in some jungle and some pale moss. Probably not the pale moss, I think, for this one. I definitely like the idea of the jungle so that this kind of makes it look like it's a little bit more weathered in here because this is going to be open to the elements. The trees kind of just broken down a lot of the tower here. And go from there. Now, I'm not quite sure a lot of how some of this is going to work, but got a few good little bits here that I think will be nice. And again, I think it'll be nice to have something here as the focus. I do like having little bits and landmarks around this place for us to help navigate by. Because then we have the one tower on the other side of there. We've got the really tall tower in the middle. And then on this side of the island, we have this ruined one here with the tree. So I think that'll work really, really well. So I'm thinking we'll do that for one of them. And then the other one will probably come off over here. And then we'll do that. So that'll top off all of those. And that should suffice for where we do our tree branching here. And should hopefully minimize the amount of logs that we have to use for this because this is going to be very expensive on logs. And anywhere where we don't have to use a wood block will be quite nice. So we have that there, that and there. Now we want this to start moving its way over, and we want this to be kind of a quick change over into the branches. So that will start going off there. We'll put that there just so we may have to play around with how we have these logs, at least the wood blocks. That's going to be fun dealing with directionality. I love it. A lot of this is going to have to be broken later and replaced so that the grains of the wood all go in the right direction. But we're basically kind of just building the tree, but sideways. But it's something that we're playing around with. I don't know if it's going to work or how it's going to work, to be honest. And yeah, it's going to be interesting. So I'm going to go get these branches in, and then I'll be right back. All right, so ignoring the dirt staircase that we have to get on top of the tree, that's what I've gotten so far. This side's got a lot more scraggly branches on it than the other. Trying two different things on how to design this. Which I kind of like how both of these sides turned out for different reasons. But I'm sure that once we get the leaves on, it'll look a lot better. And you can see we've gone and gotten a few more bits of the tower in. Not sure how much higher we're going to take some of these areas. Definitely want to try and keep it pretty low on here. But just got a whole bunch of leaves here to put in. Definitely need to remember to leave our little area here so we can actually jump up on top of this open. But I'm thinking we'll start with one layer around everything. Probably going to go up to 2 at least. And then we'll drape some leaves down below. But start with 1 for right now. Just make sure we cover top here and all of the side branches. So hopefully this turns out as I'm hoping it does. Because I really don't know what else to put in here. And Honestly, 3x3 trees are not my favorite. Anything more than 2x2 starts getting a little difficult. But, man, why we do these things so we can try out new things. And hopefully, we get something nice out of it. I do love the cherry leaves here. I think they'll be a nice addition to the area. And all in all, I'm actually kind of liking how this is looking so far. So we've got this side pretty much done except for the underside. We need to get this side here in and get some of this stuff in. But some of this is going to be blocked by needing to keep the staircase open so we can get up and down. And also, we are going to need more cherry leaves. Good thing we've got lots of those. So, I'll have to go and take a look at how that side here looks from down below. The other side might be a little bit more difficult because we don't have the branches to help scaffold things out. But I suppose we can add those later if we want to. Yeah, that's not too bad. We just need to add some branches to this side here, and that should work really well. Just need to do some stuff there. We need to get the floor into the middle of that too. Then some of these spots here will drape down a few blocks here. So we'll keep a lot of this kind of covered here. Again, a few blocks here and there. We'll just do something like that. 2 to 3 blocks, and that should give us a nice little dangle here. Looks kind of like the ones that are naturally growing here, or at least the ones that are generated when I grew up saplings to get more logs and leaves for this. So let's take a step back here and take a look. Looks kind of nice. Yeah, I like that left side there. That actually turned out pretty well once we got the leaves in. Okay. Maybe this wasn't such a bad idea. So, I'm gonna work on that right side there and try and figure out how we're gonna get the rest of that in. And at least get the leaves in such that we can take down our dirt staircase. And maybe work on some of these other trees here. Probably just get this big one in, though. So, I'm gonna get to work on that, and then I'll be right back. All right, and there we go. We now have all of the leaves in. I did go ahead and put in the floor here for the tower. So we've got some oak planks, some jungle planks, and then our moss. I ended up putting in some grass into here as well, just to give it a little bit more of an overgrown feel, which I really like that. I think that turned out really well. We do still need to add in a few roots onto the tree. We have one over here that kind of is spreading out over to this side. But I think, short of that, it's not looking too bad in here. Again, just need like one, maybe 2 more roots off of there, and that'll be good. But I really like how this turned out and how it looks from the distance here. We do still need to do these little ones, but I haven't quite decided on what design I want to do for these. I've got one idea for more of a weeping cherry tree, but I'm not quite sure if it'll work here or if we want to try and do something a little different. Maybe do a different style of tree. Again, I don't know. Something I'm going to have to play around with. But I think for now, I think that is probably going to be it for today. So I want to thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and consider subscribing if you want to see more of what is going on this island and in the rest of this world. And I will catch you all in the next one. Goodbye.